Hungry dogs run fast.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome into my dog's favorite podcast, the Dynasty Dogs, brought to you by the Double FU for you. That is the fantasy football universe. After a long hiatus, Rich and I are finally back in the doghouse. Rich, how are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. Living somebody's dream. How are you?
It's our dream. We wanted to do a podcast. Eventually, we're going to get good at this. I finally got the intro right on the first time. There wasn't really a hiccup there at all.
Look at you.
Yeah, but it's because we haven't done this in a bit, right? We had a lot going on in our personal lives. I went to Lambeau Field, which was probably one of the coolest experiences that, for football fans, obviously one of the coolest experiences you could really be a part of. Did I tell you, by the way, real quick before I forget, we did the tour of Lambeau Field the day before. I talked to you about that. Do you know Josh Wiley, the tight end?
Not personally.
No, but yeah, you've heard of him before, right?
Right.
He got picked up from the Packers practice squad and brought to after the Tucker Kraft injury, and he was in the tour, because he had never been in Lambeau before. So him and his family were at the tour, just with us in the thing. It was pretty cool.
Did you get a picture with him or anything?
No, I didn't want to bother him or anything like that. But he just was he's very calm, quiet. His parents are super excited, and they just wanted to talk about being the parents that have their son being an athlete. You know how your mom and dad were always so proud of you at Newman University.
Yes.
My son plays shortstop for the Newman University Knights.
There I was. Look at me.
And look at you now.
Look at me now in my basement talking about fantasy football.
Exactly. But tonight, Rich, we have a lot to talk about. There has been a plethora of NFL news that has come down. That's going to be our That Bite segment here shortly. And then you and I put together 2 buys for contenders and 2 buys for rebuilders. Rich and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. Obviously, we want the draft picks as rebuilders, right? But not every draft pick is going to hit. Not every single first-round pick is going to be that guy. So you do need to be able to spend those picks on appropriate players for your rosters in the future, right? Because you can't just hope for every single draft pick of yours to be, your starters of the future. You're going to have some misses in there. So it's not the worst thing in the world to buy as a rebuilder. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. It's always something you want to, you kind of are hesitant to pull the trigger on. But I mean, there's no sense in holding on to some guys that are a little long in the tooth that could help other teams and aren't going to help you. So it's kind of like, he's getting up there. Is he going to help me next year? Probably not. Let's get the value. Let's squeeze while the juice is still in there. You know what I mean?
Right. And not only that, if you have multiple firsts, right, and you say you have 3 first-round picks, maybe one of those ends up being something good. You know what I mean? And you might as well try to flip 2 of those for somebody that is young, that's, still, if you're a couple pieces away, can help build your future quicker than, waiting for a draft pick, right? So It's not the worst thing in the world to start doing that. But, Rich, is your favorite part of the episode is where I haven't done it in a while. I got to hit the little picture here for the That Bite segment, our little graphic here made by our buddy S.C. Romero of the Devi Planet. But, Rich, we got a lot to talk about. And this is the one thing that just happened about an hour ago. It wasn't originally the first thing I was going to talk about, but since it just happened, the 49ers have voided the 2026 guarantees for Brandon Ayuk. It looks like that they're going to be, releasing him. That's what it seems like. It's what they kind of what they're saying on Twitter and stuff like that. He's failed to attend any team meetings, participate in any team activities for months, and the 49ers have obviously become increasingly frustrated.
So you're meaning to tell me that he doesn't show up for work and is expecting to get paid? Is that how that works?
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. So you're hurt, so you can't play football, but you can go to the meetings, you can go to walkthroughs, you can act like a half a decent fucking teammate and show up to things. But I guess that's too much for you. But if you want to go down to the Wawa or the equivalent of Wawa in San Francisco, whatever the hell it is, and swipe your ATM card, money will come out, and you expect money to come out. It's funny how that works.
Yeah. I mean, I was just interested the 49ers paid him in the first place because it was
I didn't think he was that decent to get that big of a payday.
Yeah, I think he's decent, but all the tea leaves were there that he didn't want to be in San Francisco in the first place.
Yeah, he
wanted
kind
to
of
be
like
traded.
I thought the whole time it was like he requested a trade, and then it was kind of like a twisting of the arm to try to get him to get a check. And then, oh, by the way, what is his injury? I don't even know what the hell what he tears.
He's got a couple different ones. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, any common sense would tell you, like, listen, you just got hurt. There's probably a bunch of legal jargon in your contract that protects the team. You should probably be on your P's and Q's and go to every single thing you can, be the best cheerleader that you can be. But rather, what is he staying at home and watching on TV? If it's not blacked out by the goddamn YouTube TV.
No, we're back on YouTube TV.
I know.
Thank God. Thank
God, I was so close. They must have heard me, dude. I was like, where the fuck is the cable, man? I'm cold. I'm getting regular cable right now. I'm getting regular cable. I was so fucking close, dude.
Now, seeing as how he's probably going to be released, I'm just looking at some of the teams that could use him.
The Eagles. Psych.
No, please God, no. We don't need another one.
I'm more interested in Odell Beckham.
Oh God. Few teams that come kind of off the top of my head that would be, decent fits for him, especially from cap value standpoint. The Raiders are good. Well, Buffalo, but they're not. They're way down here. Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking just because they're going to get rid of another guy. I don't know if it's on your. And we're
going to talk about that shortly,
okay.
So just keep that one. But there's two teams on here that really stand out, and they are higher in cap space. It's the Tennessee Titans, who have $117 million in cap space.
I bet they do.
And then you got the Washington Commanders, who have $93 million in cap space available. And Brandon Ayuk and Jaden Daniels played college football together at Arizona State. So
I don't know.
And I know he wanted to go there in the first place, like just a year ago.
But my thing is, and I think it hasn't been talked about enough, is the Terry McLaurin situation. So add Brandon Ayuk to the Terry McLaurin, who suddenly is another dude who got paid, and then all of a sudden everything hurts, and he hasn't played since fucking week 1. Which is fucking insane. No, well, I don't even have him on my team, but I'm more frustrated that I went out and banging the drum for the guy and he's doing this bullshit. But let's stick on Brandon Ayuk. I don't know, dude. He's gonna have to. How do they his deal will be voided and he'll be a free agent? Is that what it is?
They would have to release him. His guarantees for 26. He could still be released. He still has to be released, I believe.
So if he's released, they don't owe him any money, or is there dead cap? I don't know.
I actually haven't seen anything about that, so that's very interesting.
It's insane because that's going to be, if that's the case, he's going from, I think it was 120, however many years, was it 4 years, 120, something like that.
Right now, God, yeah.
And he's gonna have to play for a 1-year deal. There's no way on earth anyone would pay him a long-term contract.
Yeah, 4 years to $120 million. You were right.
There's no way.
Would there be a team? He was signed there till 2029. Holy shit! And they have a potential out in 2027. But that's
dude, they got a potential out next week, dude. Yeah, they're like actually, dude. What talk about?
Was there teams like Tennessee or Washington that if he goes there, would that bring any dynasty value to you? Like, would you be interested if that happened? Like right now, obviously, like you could probably go out and get him for like a late second, early third at this point.
Probably put him on Washington. I don't like. I kind of like the pieces they're building in Tennessee. I don't really want, someone that's been a big of a headache as Ayuk has been there. I think they should go out this year and draft someone, get someone to grow with Cam Ward. Don't bring this guy in.
They do need a veteran presence there, though.
But is that the presence you want?
True. No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
You don't want him. You don't really want Calvin Ridley, who's not really a stalwart of good decision making. when in
I thought he
terms
was going to be
to,
so good this year.
I thought so too. I mean, maybe he had a parlay in on how many games he was going to play this year. I don't know, but like honestly, I think the way Tennessee should go with their young wide receivers, bring Restrepo up and play with Cam, who's played with them in Miami. Builds, dude, you're 1-9 or 1-10, whatever the record is. Just bring some up and build something there. So I wouldn't want him to go there. Washington, go ahead, throw him in there and let it burn. Watch it burn. For me, I'd love to see that.
I think that would be good for Jaden Daniels because the Terry McLaurin stuff is frustrating. I don't know what's going
For
on
sure.
there. Obviously, it's injury related. I think Terry McLaurin, like we've seen Terry McLaurin play on some bad football.
It's just awfully ironic that it's like he's like, I'm going to hold out. I'm like, dude, now you got paid, and now like I'd be so pissed.
I don't know if it's anything like that, but
I don't know, man.
But let's move on to the next topic.
Real quick, I think Buffalo will probably be a team I'd watch out for just because they have me and you and Khalil Shakir going out as wide out.
Well, since you brought up Buffalo, we'll go right to that one next here. Keon Coleman benched for 2 straight games after missing. I didn't see if he missed team meetings again or if it was just like a layover from the last one. I know last week they were saying he missed team meetings or it was late, so they benched him. And then they had that short turnaround for Thursday Night Football, and they benched him again. So I don't really know if he did it again or if they were just like, yeah, you're missing 2. And,
You know what? I don't think these guys, I don't really understand fully why this is even a thing. Like your whole job description is playing football and going to the meetings and going to your practices and going through walkthroughs. This is your
they are
job.
young kids still too, though. But yeah,
you're getting paid. You're getting paid fucking fat money, dude. And I had this argument just in basketball terms when Maxi's a max contract player. Oh well, this was last year and the year before, not this year when he's going off the walls. He's young. He's learning. He's young. Listen, his paycheck does not say he's young. He's not learning. He's getting paid big time money to show up to play at big time spots. Come on, you know what I mean? Like show up to your meetings. You know what time you got to be there. You know how long it takes you to get there. Be there for the meetings, dude. You're not a neuroscientist. Like fucking get there and talk about football. That's what you got to do. And I don't get it. You know what I mean? And the young kids are like, well, they benched me. And they're all got their jock straps in a bunch. Well, yeah, no shit. Bless you.
He hasn't really said anything is the good news as to why, he hasn't really come out and argued about the team or anything like that. So that's a good thing. But this is him, you had CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens being benched the first series of the Cowboys game last week as well.
Wait. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens was benched for the first drive for conduct detrimental to the team? No.
He's still balling though, isn't he?
Oh no. Is that a Cowboys hat on your head?
It's our hat.
Balling.
He's still balling. But then you got Abdul Carter who was falling asleep in team meetings for the Giants too. It's an epidemic right now. It seems like.
What actually now it's like the more why? What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know. But the Keon Coleman thing is kind of frustrating because he showed some flashes early in the season, right? He looked really good. And then he kind of fell off a little bit. He had a nice game the week before he got benched. And now
he was one of my guys, dude. And now he's
one of my guys too. Yeah. It's a shame. Are you selling him or are you just kind of holding and seeing what happens?
What can you sell him for? You know what I mean? What are you going to get a 4th round pick for him?
No, I think you can get more than that.
He's not doing anything to help himself. Really, he's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he's not showing up. He's getting benched, and then when he does play, he's inconsistent. So,
true. No, that is true. I think I would re-roll if I could get a late second for him at this point. If it's even an early third, I would have to think about it. If I could add a third onto him and get a second, I think I would at this point. Right, if him and a third for a 2, I think I would do that. It's just not looking good. It's been up and down. He was looking really good. I think I had him as a dog tag this offseason for the Bills, right? And I was feeling pretty good about it. And then he just became, like you said, super inconsistent. Now he's getting benched for missing meetings. It's probably a situation that we want to stay away from at this point. And they're going to probably have to draft or sign somebody.
It's something. It's really telling when Buffalo has no wide receivers, and they're benching it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's
You know what I
Khalil
mean?
Shakir and nobody else.
Right. And Kincaid was out, so they're
Yeah.
benching you
They
with
needed Keon Coleman.
right.
Last
They need they did, and that's when and you know what? Some people they go one of two ways when they see a time to take an opportunity and really run with it and show not in just in football in general what you have and how to make yourself valuable. And then you got guys who are going to steer off. You got Keon Coleman who literally had a perfect opportunity to be like, I can be the number one guy. There's no one here. Everyone's hurt. I can step up. And he chose to wake up and be late for a meeting. So, what route
By
is he taking?
Khalil Shakir, though.
What's
By
that?
Khalil Shakir. By Khalil Shakir, by the way. He was almost one of my the veteran buys that we're going to talk about.
Mhm.
But, I think that one's just an easy layup there. The dude's just a
Yeah.
baller. Let's get into the next couple things here. This is like a duo combo conversation. A-Town down. We got Michael Penix with a partially torn ACL in his left leg. This is a different leg than his previous two ACL tears in 2018 and 2020. And now you have Drake London with a PCL injury, and he's considered week to week. How panicked are you about? Let's start with Michael
Penix?
Penix. Yeah,
Like 9 million?
9 million. Okay.
Dude, this is his third fucking ACL tear.
Well, different leg, but yeah.
Right, but this is. I think I read what was this? Fuck, you probably seen the stat. It was like his fifth season ending. What was it? Was it his fifth season-ending injury?
Well, this is
In
definitely his third.
eight?
So
Was it 3 and 5? 3 and 5 seasons. It was something like that, but it was. I seen it a couple days ago, and I'm like, holy shit! It was
Yeah.
like his. I think it was like his third or his fourth season-ending injury in like 5 seasons or some shit.
yeah,
He,
that
but I
is
guess
the
it was.
concern.
That's fucking enormous, dude.
Mhm.
That's real. I mean, he was playing. He was getting there. He was making strides, and now you got this, which it's partial. Almost scares me more than a full. Like, how do you
Does it
like
though? Like,
right? Because my thinking is this: like, okay, so it's like you got half of it hanging off. So do you sew the other pack back on, and then this side is stronger than this side because you just tightened it, or
I'm
are
not a
you
fucking
tightening?
doctor.
I went to believe it or not, one semester of
I
medical
remember that
school,
sports medicine,
sports
wasn't it?
medicine school,
Yeah.
and guess what? I quit. I changed majors because I couldn't get past lower anatomy, dude. I was just like, dude, ACL, MCL, PCL. Where are they all connected? This one goes this way. This one, what one's posterior, interior, dude? Now I remember it. But that's my thing. It's like if you sew it all back together, is one side stronger than the other? Are you going to have to slice the whole thing and resew it? I don't know. And that's any way you slice it, it's a terrifying situation and a terrifying talk. Because guess what? Grandpa fucking Kirk Cousins looks like shit.
Yeah, he looks like absolute dog shit. The only silver linings with Penix is, I think, a partial torn ACL. I mean, I know what you're saying is actually not the worst thing in the world, right? It's not the same leg, which is a positive. They don't have a first round pick this year, so they're not going to be drafting another quarterback, right? And I think Penix has shown enough to be the starter for the Atlanta Falcons. It's just
we know that. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he started the season, but Jesus, dude, the fucking injuries. That's
someone tried. Tell me if you agree with this because I quickly rejected it. And I think it was Ben. So our buddy Ben over at Dynasty Gambit, he pissed me off. I texted him right after he sent it to me. He offered me JJ McCarthy for Penix and a first, and I texted him and I said, "You're a sick fucker. You know that, right?" Like,
wait,
I'm not.
He wanted you to give up Penix and a first.
Yeah, for JJ.
What?
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't do it. I was like,
JJ McCarthy can hit the fucking top of the fucking. What is it? Where do they play? Minneapolis Dome, whatever the fuck, Target Dome or whatever it is. Now if it was JJ McCarthy and a first for Penix,
they're not doing that obviously because of the ACL thing. He was trying to get by low on Penix, and he knew I needed a quarterback after the injury. So he thought he had me, and I think he was just fucking with me because he knows I'm not a JJ McCarthy guy. But I still believe in Penix, the talent. It's just the injury history is going to be the biggest, nail in his fantasy football coffin, right?
Yeah, that's
It's
something.
obviously huge, right? It's concerning, but would you give up a second for him? Because that's kind of where I've seen his value going. Like, would you give us if you're a rebuilder and you have like a multitude of seconds or a multitude of firsts, and you think he's a better quarterback than what's coming out this year, right? Would you give up a second for him and just put him on your IR spot?
I'd give up a second for him. I mean, I haven't delved too deep into the guys coming out this year, but I know they're that talented. I know there's not that many guys that you're like beating down the door to get to.
There's some
Like,
solid guys,
right, but not. But there's a lot of guys that, and we'll come up and talk about it later on down the road in this episode. But there's a lot of guys I would take, I think, over who's coming out. So would I take it? Probably.
Yeah, I think I would take a gamble and just stash him.
Right.
It's a shame. But then we got the other piece of this, and Drake London with the PCL injury week to week. He's currently wide receiver 6 total and wide receiver 3 in points per game, and he's still wide receiver 6, and he missed a game or two, if I'm not mistaken. Also, are you worried as a contender when it comes to Drake London with Kirk Cousins? And do you think this Penix injury affects his dynasty value at all?
So I thought I seen that London's in jeopardy of missing the rest of the season. Did I read that right?
I just saw week to week, which in reality, I guess like they're 3-7 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it could
shut them down, which is like, yeah, because didn't he kind of stunk with Kirk Cousins? Was it last season before?
The beginning of the year, he was like a mid wide receiver 2 with Kirk Cousins, which was solid. But it's like he's done it with Desmond Ridder, where he's been a wide receiver 3. He's been solid, so I'm not like super concerned, right? Because I've seen him be like fantasy starter with these guys, and we all know he's got the fucking talent to be that guy,
right? And this was the year that he kind of took off to be the guy that that he was thought to be. So it kind of sucks that this is happening, but it's like a plethora of perfect storm to imperfect storm with Penix getting hurt and him getting hurt. You need these guys to be on the same page. And
especially health-wise, yeah, for sure.
Right. Well, Atlanta took Michael Penix knowing that he had this injury history. So now two bad ACLs, man. That scares me, dude.
As a contender, I'm just trying to think of something you could do if you were to move off of a Drake London. Would you sell him straight up for like a Rashee Rice, or would you rather just go down with the ship with Drake London?
If you gave me like Rashee Rice
keep Drake cut
in the third, I'd do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty close to that as well. Like if I could get something like a third or late third or fourth, I would consider it. What about, if you were to add a first onto Drake London, would you get like probably not even a first at this point, maybe a second for like a Puka Nacua? Would you do that?
Drake London and a first for Puka Nacua?
Mm-hmm. As a rebuilder, I would 110% do that. I would take Drake.
What if I get the first? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if I was on that side, yeah.
As a contender, though, I think I would even. That's tough. I think I would rather give up a second in Drake London to get Puka, from somebody.
Like if you're a contender, and you're trading Puka for Drake London in the first, is that
no? If you're a contender, if you have Drake London, and you want Puka.
Oh, then.
Because if I'm a contender, I don't want to give up Drake London in a first, right?
Right.
But if I have Puka, I want Drake London in a first.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's a tough. I mean, I guess if I'm, it would probably be Drake London in a third either way, like either whatever side you're on, because I wouldn't want to. Yeah. I think I would be comfortable there.
I would have to give. I would give up a second in Drake as a contender, but I wouldn't go to a first. No, I couldn't do that.
Right? Yeah. That like if I can get Puka for Drake in a third, I'd be fucking happy. Drake in a second. That's like what, the 22nd pick. You're kind of pushing it. I would still do it. Drake in the first now.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think when Drake is healthy, the drop off between the two is not that substantial.
Right.
I think both of them are super, you know, great wide receivers. I think I
Some
said
both of
here.
them both have like a little bit of injury history, so to speak. Puka
Sure.
missed a few games.
And suspended too for
Yeah.
punching somebody last year. But yeah, I still believe in Drake London. I still think he's a top 6-7 dynasty wide receiver. He's got all the talent in the world. And, with Michael Penix, when he's healthy, he's been a top 3 guy, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of what we want in our dynasty wide receiver. So I think he's even a good sneaky buy at this point if you can, get him now while you can just stash him. Let's talk about this one, Rich. I know you're probably a little excited for this, as am I, because I want to see what this looks like. Shedeur Sanders gets to start this week versus Oakland with Dylan Gabriel and concussion protocol. What are you looking to see from Shedeur as a dynasty manager? Because you do have him in 1 or 2 leagues, if I'm not mistaken. What are you looking to see from Shedeur this week?
It's hard to juggle, as you probably know, a bunch of teams. So it's like for a few teams I have Shedeur, and for one team I have Gabriel, and for one that I care more about than the other, I kind of want Shedeur not to do so well because I eventually want Gabriel to start so I can sell Gabriel. That's what I'm trying to do. So if Shedeur plays well, then I'm screwed.
No, well, are you? Because for that team, yeah, but for your other team, right?
Yeah,
you have a sell window now open for Shedeur,
true.
right? Or you have the future starter for the Cleveland Browns. So it's like,
which is fantastic. Look at me go. The starters, either way, I got both starters for the beautiful Cleveland Browns. No, I'm looking to see if he can actually play in the NFL. I'm looking if he can translate his game to the NFL. Am I expecting big things? No, I'm not. I just want him to be, at least compete. He's going to make rookie mistakes, right? He's probably going to throw a pick or two. He's going to get sacked. This is what's going to happen. So you kind of want to see what his progression is and see if he has the ability to be a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I'm looking for the same type of thing, right? I thought he was a better quarterback than Dylan Gabriel coming out of the draft. Obviously, Cleveland, for whatever reason, did not see it that way. I think Shedeur is a capable NFL quarterback. And the fact that people were just shitting on him last week after coming in with no reps with the first team, playing the Baltimore Ravens, which, they might be a banged up defense, but that is still the Baltimore Ravens, right? That is, a team that's going to come after you. They're going to make you think about it a little bit, right? That's still a competitive football team. So, like, for them to shit on him is just kind of corny, right?
Yeah.
Look, we all know Shedeur's got an ego. We all know that, people don't like him because of that. But I think the kid's taken enough punishment since the NFL draft to kind of like, cool our jets a little bit. But I am looking to see him play well this week. He's got a fantastic matchup against Oakland, right? Because they suck. The biggest thing you got to worry about is Max Crosby time off the edge. But I think he's capable enough to spread the football around for these wide receivers. Jerry Jeudy should be all right. Harold Fannin Jr. should be good. It'll be interesting to see how everybody looks. And could he, stack this and continue to be the starter? I think so. Obviously, again, like I mentioned, this Oakland team is not good. If he can somehow win this football game, I think he ends up keeping this job at least for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's kind of turning into a toilet bowl this game this week. The Raiders and the Browns, which is goddamn. Geno Smith looks awful. They all look awful. Yeah. I mean, well, it's kind of funny. You could see two ways of how it goes. He looked good last year. He signs a big deal. Now he sucks. Sam Darnold looked good last year. Continues to look good. It can go one way or go the other.
Yeah. We kind of like teased it a little bit, but if Shedeur looks good this week, what's your plan of attack with that? Are you going to hold and see if he can continue to stack a few weeks and maybe his value goes up slightly more, or are you selling right away?
Depends. If I can get a sweet offer, I might go ahead and ship him on out.
It would depend. It would really depend on the offer. I'm not selling him for a third.
No.
Looks good. because I might as well just hold at that point.
Yeah, right. Yep.
A second, maybe I'd be intrigued, but I don't think many people are going to be trading him for that or
Right.
sending that for him, even after just one game. But, people are reactionary in Dynasty football, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think this could be a good time to sell in a few weeks if he looks good this week and maybe stacks a few. So I would just hold and see what happens, right? Next thing, we got to talk about the elephant in the Eagles' room, Rich. We have to talk about it. We do. No, we have to because it also affects a lot of my Dynasty rosters, your Dynasty rosters, a lot of people's Dynasty rosters. The curious case of A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. What the fuck is going on?
They're not throwing the ball. Kevin Patullo runs a high school offense, and Jalen Hurts is afraid to throw over the middle of the field. He's afraid to throw interceptions for whatever reason. That's fine. A.J. Brown wants the ball. He wants to feel like he wants to contribute. He's not contributing. I don't blame him. The end.
I agree and disagree at the same point. So let me just go with it this way. I do agree with you. I think Jalen has been playing very hesitant football, right?
Very
He's not putting
incredibly.
the ball. He's not putting the ball in harm's way. The play calling has been bad. They are. I just don't understand what they're doing. Even with the running game, I don't understand what they're doing. But in that defense, the offensive line's kind of been, in and out. There's been injuries in and out. So I kind of give a little leeway with that one. But in the passing game, they don't look like themselves. But I will argue for AJ, he is dogging it a bit when he's running his routes. He's not like people are wondering.
He's running one move fucking routes, dude. He's running fucking Pop Warner football routes.
Dude, that go route against fucking Green Bay a couple
weeks. Go left. Okay.
Listen, I've seen him slow up on routes.
You want to know what's crazy? You want to know what's that? Real quick, top of my head that I read the other day. He hasn't had a drop in 2 fucking seasons. He's one of 2 guys to do it. Him and T. Higgins. 2 fucking seasons. Throw him the fucking ball. Just my thought.
The fact that people are wondering if he's lost a step, but he's dogging routes. I don't think he's lost a step. I think he's not invested. And to be honest with you, he needs to kind of shut up when it comes to talking to the media. Because
that's the crazy thing, because it's almost like the shut up and dribble type shit. Just shut up and just play sports and not worry about anything else. Don't talk about anything else. So it's he should be able to speak his mind.
I agree with you, but he's also telling the wrong people. Like LaShawn McCoy, that dude's gonna fucking let everything out.
Sure.
Deshaun Jackson gonna do the same fucking thing. It's just like those are 2 people I'm not talking to when I'm going through something.
What's happening is they're swallowing the hook. That's what it is. If you can't tell that, people can't tell that he's leading the media on, it's hilarious. It's hilarious to watch because he's just playing the shit out of you. He's giving because it's obvious he listens to the direct radio that we have here because he called in. So it's
I didn't see that.
Yeah, remember? No, it was last year. Last year, AJ Brown called in.
Yeah. I thought you meant recently he did that.
No, but he knows what he's doing, dude. He's stirring the pot, and I think it's fucking funny, dude. I think it's funny because people are like, "Oh my god, look! Can you believe what he's doing?" Yes, I can because he's playing the shit out of you.
I don't love it, to be honest with you. A lot of the things that he's doing, and I'm not. It's frustrating because his effort level is not there. You're talking all this, and the effort level is not there.
But he's not. But he's not getting the ball. They're throwing.
Okay.
They're not.
Every route like you're going to get the ball.
Run it. He is there. It's up.
No, he's
and left.
not.
Dude, he's running a fucking Pop Warner football. They're doing checkdowns at 3rd and 11 to Will Shipley.
So why is
Explain that one to me?
Why has Devontae been fine?
I mean, he's being all right. They're not throwing him the ball as much as they should. They're not throwing him to either one.
No, I agree with you, but Devontae's on a career year path right now. Did you got muted, Rich?
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, sorry. Now you hear me?
Yeah.
No, there's audio of and video of Devontae Smith saying, "Throw the fucking ball."
Oh, I know. I don't disagree with you.
Jalen's not throwing the fucking ball, and it's like people are like, "It's." I love Jalen, but you can't be like, well, he's infallible, and you can't criticize. And like, well, he's got this, and that. He's got, his interception ratios. Yeah, because he doesn't throw the ball. So who's worried
Yeah,
about
no,
stats? Is AJ worried about stats, or is Jalen worried about stats that he's not throwing a pick? Does he want to throw a pick that'll affect the stats? No, he's playing fucking conservative football, which is, it's like, yeah, we're great. We're winning the games. I love it. But at some point, I want to see more. I want to see the exciting offense that we can have.
right. I don't disagree with that. I definitely don't disagree with that. With his dynasty value being I believe, 28-year-old wide receiver now. Is he 28? Or is he still
Yeah.
27? He's
He's
28. Are you worried about him at all for dynasty? Is this like obviously, I don't think you could sell him right now because he's at probably the lowest point ever in his career.
Dude, I've been trying to buy him for fucking weeks off of Pat, and he's just not fucking budging, dude. I'm like,
Well,
I
that's
don't know
the
what to
Eagles
give you,
fan.
but yeah, that's the fandom. But I got him in redraft, and I got him in maybe one other dynasty, and it's like, dude, every week I'm like, all right, this week's the week, and it's like, what the fuck? I got what did I? No, that wasn't a trade for. Someone offered me a trade for redraft, but it wasn't for him. It was because of him. It was ETN. They wanted me to trade ETN for Franklin, Troy Franklin, and Colson Loveland or some shit. And I was like, they were like, well, because you got AJ Brown in there. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't want Franklin the Turtle, but yeah, it's a struggle, dude, for him. I'm worried. Like, will it change? Will the play call change? At this point, I'm not selling him in Dynasty because you're not going to get the value for him that he can be, because we know what kind of football player he is. We know what kind of wide receiver he is personally from watching him. So I'm not going to be like, give him up because he's having a shit season for nothing. And then inevitably, maybe he does get traded. I don't want him to get traded. I fucking sure as fuck hope they don't and they can figure it out. And I've been saying this for weeks on end to guys. They need an offensive coordinator who's like Vic Fangio, who's like 1,000 years old, who doesn't want to be a head coach, who's like a grumpy old fucking man who just wants to be an offensive coordinator. That's not going anywhere. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, that too. But they want the young upstart, hip and fucking happen and reinvent the wheel offensive coordinator, and this is what gets us. So.
The crazy thing is, I have a league where I have a decent amount of wide receivers. I needed a quarterback after the Penix injury. I offered AJ Brown in a first for Caleb Williams, right? And you would think maybe a year ago that would have been plenty, right?
That would have been.
It. Yeah, he rejected it right away. I think a lot of people are just out right now, and
yeah,
what it is, and that's why you can't sell him right now. There's no reason to. If you want to sell him, right, and that's fine, you need to wait until there's a blow-up week, right? You need to wait until, hopefully it's this week against this bad, secondary in Dallas, although they are starting to improve these past few weeks. You need that, 20-point game to kind of bring his value back up enough to where you can move him for something of value, because the value is just not there right now to move him. It's frustrating. It's frustrating from fantasy. It's frustrating, obviously, as an Eagles fan as well. But it's just one of those things we got to have to figure out and kind of just wait for it to correct itself. Fantasy football does have a way of doing that eventually, and hopefully it's this week. I want to hold on. I want to hold on hope, but we'll see what happens. And when Rich gets out there, he is back in the frame here. Let's talk about our buys for contenders and for rebuilders. Because like we said at the beginning of the show, if you want to be a rebuilder, having all the picks is great. You still need some players to be part of your rosters, and not every pick is going to work out. But Rich, let's start with the vets here first. Right. And since I just went on a soliloquy as you wandered off into the sunset there for a second.
Sorry, I can't hold my pay due to I suffer from kidney stones. I can't hold it in. Okay, so two guys
I go there first.
Let's see. I'll go vet because this has been more recent for me on both ends here. And a veteran I'm buying is going to be the guy that I've been banging the drum for a while for. That's Mr. Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I saw you just bought him in the league the other day.
Yeah, I did. You know what? And we'll get to that. I got I was on both ends of the spectrum with him. He's a top 15 wide receiver. He is on pace if he can average 56 yards a game for another 1,000-yard season, as we've talked about before. And he seems like he's kind of finding a rhythm with Drake May. He's a guy, in my opinion, who can push you over the edge between 17 and 20-ish points. A wide receiver 2 type guy that can, maybe, and me personally, that I, like you mentioned, I bought him yesterday.
2 days ago, I think it was.
2 days ago, I sent a second-round pick for Stephon Diggs and a fourth. If you have these injuries, which I have been goddamn harping about on Twitter, that I lost, I have Malik Neighbors, I have Cam Scadaboo, I have Garrett Wilson, I have Jackson Dart this week, and Bucky Irving, and Brock Bowers. So all year I've been losing guys left and right. Here's a guy who can put up points for you. In it, he's not a splash anymore type guy, but a second-round pick. And then I was on the other end of the spectrum where I am regretfully like 2-9 in one league that I sent him off for a second-round pick. So I think you can find Stephon Diggs for around a second-round pick, whether you're either selling him or buying him. But a second-round pick, I was comfortable giving up that for a guy who can step in and, like I said, give you between 17 and 21-ish points. Kind of a guy you can count on who is a solid wide receiver too.
Yeah, he is wide receiver 13 in total, or 14 in total points and 13 on averages in full PPR. He's averaging 13 points a game, which is still solid enough in a flex option, or even a wide receiver 3, depending on your roster builds, right? I was
right now he's like my one.
Yeah. What was I going to say? In the beginning of the year, when you mentioned this, I was against it because he was coming off the ACL tear. He's an older wide receiver. I wasn't sure what the New England offense was going to look like. Obviously, I thought Drake May would take a step forward, but obviously not to this level where they are.
No one expected an MVP type performance out of Drake May this year. I don't think.
No, maybe next year. If he would have said this year or next year, then I would have been like, okay, cool. Like I could agree with that. But I didn't see them 9-2 right or 8-2, 9. What are they right now?
I think they're not. What are they? 9-2 in the head of the division.
Yeah, they're first in the AFC East, which is fucking insane. But I do like this as a contender buy. Again, he is older, but this is what we want to do. We want to win championships. And if I'm plugging Stephon Diggs into my flex, I'm feeling pretty good about that, right? If I'm plugging him in as my wide receiver 3, I'm okay with that. If you're a team that, you are having trouble kind of getting a quarterback right now, if you have injuries at quarterback position like we all have, you can plug him into your super flex spot and still get, he's probably going to average more points per game than fucking Kirk Cousins at this point, right? He's probably going to average around the same amount as like a Geno Smith, depending on the league in some cases too. So I actually like this move. That's a smart decision for a contender buy. Do you think he has any value maybe even next year? Because what is his contract? Do you think he gives you still another shot next year too?
I think it's a 3-year deal. I do. I think he's a guy that you can kind of until someone else steps up. He's kind of the guy in New England. Like I said, he's
been solid, by the way.
He's been solid, but I mean, he's building a rapport with Drake May, and I kind of think he plays out the contract. I think it's a 3-year deal.
It's a 3-year deal. So he's
3-year 80 or
he's there till 2027. It is a 3-year, $63.5 million deal. They have a potential out in 2026, but I don't see them taking the out at this point. If he was bad, then yeah, but he's been good enough and solid enough with Drake May, and him and Drake May are starting to get a somewhat of a rapport together. It's just, I agree with you on this. I think he could at least give you maybe another year. Maybe next year won't be wide receiver 2 points. It might be in that wide receiver 3 spot, right? Like where he's like wide receiver, 28 to 30. And again,
he's a guy. He's a guy who can like kind of bridge you. If you have like like I said, I have my injuries with Malik Neighbors and Garrett Wilson, that he can bridge you until they get back. Obviously, not this year for Malik Neighbors, but Garrett Wilson, I'm hoping comes back this year. So he can kind of carry the workload in that wide receiver spot on your roster until one of your big guys get back.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think he will give you enough next year to be fantasy relevant to help you compete for another year or two, depending on your build. My first guy is also a older wide receiver. That is currently 32-year-old Davante Adams. What? Is that your other one?
Me and you think alike, brother.
Yeah.
It
Davante
sure
Adams currently wide receiver 7, a wide receiver 8 in points per game with 16 total points. He's still doing this with being 32 years old, with Puka Nacua, with what we thought was going to be Matt Stafford with a broken back, who's just heaving the ball everywhere. Love to see that. He's top 15 in target share, 26.5% of the targets for the Los Angeles Rams. I think this is a perfect time to even give up a late first for Davante Adams. Yeah, listen.
That's spicy. That's really spicy.
What would you give up for
first? I'm currently sending feelers out now, but I don't know, second in a player, third in a player.
I've seen solo seconds and I've seen seconds plus, but if I'm trying to win for what's that?
I'm agreeing with you. I think. Oh no, I closed the tab with Dynasty Daddy that I had up. There were some good moves on there.
If I'm a team that's like, if I'm first or second in points scored, right, and I'm second in the league, and I just need another wide receiver to help push me over the edge, I am gladly giving up that 111. Potential 111, 112 to help me get, to win that fantasy championship. Because that's the end of the day, that's what it's about. And I do think Davante Adams, he's going to be okay next year too. I don't think he goes anywhere. He's got a little over a year and a half left on his contract with the Rams. Will Matthew Stafford be the quarterback? I don't know, but I'm just playing this game.
Stetson Bennett.
Oh God. I'm going to play this game as he's going to be the quarterback for the Rams next year as well, right?
Sure.
I'm a firm believer that Davante, just like Stephon Diggs, just at a slightly higher level, can give you another year or two of very solid. I mean, right now he's a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy football at 30 years old. And will there be a fall off next year? I have no idea. He did hurt his back last week in England. And I was like, oh, I've been there before, bud. So I understand it. So I think he could still give you another year or two. And listen, him and Puka have been a scary fucking duo. And that's a team to watch this year. The Rams they're hot.
They definitely surprised me. I thought they were going to be good, but not as good as they have been.
That was your other buy, I imagine?
That's my other buy for a vet. And I think a lot to do with it has, like you said, with Matt Stafford, who can make all three throws, the short, intermediate, and long bombs. So I think he is kind of, taking advantage of that. He did have one catch last week, but it was a touchdown. So at least it was a touchdown. I've seen a lot, like on Dynasty Daddy, like I said, second rounders. I'm throwing a second rounder all day. If I can.
Like I said, I would still even give up. I would give up that first if I had to. Like if you're going to tell me a second's not going to get it done, right? 2 seconds isn't going to get it done. I'm just going to throw it the fuck out there and give them a first. And be like, you know what? I only have one shot at this point to try to win this championship.
Right.
And that's the really only thing you can do. Now that we both talked about him, I mean, I have another one, but I guess another guy you could kind of talk about is Rico Dottle. You got your guy, Rico.
What a fucking absolute steal I found of him. I found him in a few leagues just sitting there in the free agent pool, and I'm like, yeah, definitely. Because it's like I get the update sent to my phone, and I'm up before I guess everyone else is in the world, and I'm like, oh, Chuba Hubbard's hurt. I'm like, pick up. And a lot of leagues, especially my redraft, there's no waiver. Well, there is a waiver, like a time frame, but like I think it's like a day or something. And I'm like, everyone's just a free agent all the time. And I'm just like, add. And he's been an absolute stud muffin, dude. I told you, he's earned every right in every spot to be the number one running back there. I think he's ran his way right into the number 1 spot. So, as far as I'm concerned, Chubb is the backup.
Oh, he has to be now at this point, right?
Yeah.
He's on a 1-year deal there. So I just gave you a layup there because since we talked about the same guy, I tried to help you out there. And I know Rico's been a guy of yours, so I definitely know that's a good one to call out because he is currently in points per game 14th or 15th,
Dude,
right? And that's not even a full season, a full workload in the beginning of the season. He's averaging 14 points a game. Let's go back from week 5, right? Here's his point totals. You've got 32, 33, 10, 5, 28, 15, 15. And that's from week 5 on. There's obviously a dud in there, but obviously that's going to happen. And he didn't get much of the workload at the beginning of the season.
Mm-mm.
So this is a guy I like. Would you give up a second for him? I don't think a first is. I think that might be
It's close to it, dude. People have been. I forget what league we're in together that I have him, and people are banging down my fucking that league. People are banging down my fucking door for him, and I'm like whatever. I'm a shit record in that because I put too much stock in the.
Keep Trey Cutts. You have to give up a first.
Let it be known. Send me a first to Rico Dowdle. No, I like him, dude, and I think he's going to get a fat contract.
I think they re-sign him. I think. Yeah. Well, the problem is they have a lot of money tied up with Chuba Hubbard too. And
I think he signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. I think I would be more comfortable giving up an early second for Rico than I would a first. But if I have to give up a first and I could get something small on top of that, I'd probably consider that. I just don't know if I could give up a straight first for him unless. Listen, I've taken a gamble on a 32-year-old wide receiver with a late first, so I guess.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. But I'll go to my next one here, my last one for the vets. And this is a guy I've been pounding the table for because I think he's just an all-around solid wide receiver. I call him, everybody loves Josh Downs, but he outperforms Josh Downs.
But is this your? This is
the vet. So this is my other vet.
I thought you had 2 already.
No, I had one. I had Devontae Adams.
Your first one was Devontae Adams. Okay.
Yeah.
He was my second one. Gotcha.
My second one's going to be Wan'Dale Robinson. I just think this dude.
You love Wan'Dale.
He's going for a solo second right now. He's acquirable. He's averaging 12.1 points per game. You put him in your flex, you'll be pretty happy with that. Right, wide receiver 23 points per game. 4 out of 7 games with Dart, he's over 12 points, which is solid. He's just a great flex option for all these injuries that have been popping up. Now, we talked about a wide receiver earlier tonight that you said, who could I get for him at this point? Would you rather have Keon Coleman or Wan'Dale Robinson at this point?
Robinson, no question. He sees the field.
I think I would too.
I mean, I got a better chance of scoring 1 point with Wan'Dale Robinson than Keon Coleman being on the sidelines in sweatpants. So
the thing is with Wan'Dale is he's a good route runner. He is a guy who gets open quick. He's good after the catch. I just think Wan'Dale's just a solid wide receiver that we always just kind of downplay because he's in New York. Mm-hmm. And he's a free agent after this year. So he could be somewhere else, right? He can come here to Philadelphia, right? He could be our third. He might be all right there, right? I honestly think New York is not in a place to draft another high-end wide receiver at this time because there's other holes, especially on the offensive line, that they need to figure out. So Wan'Dale, I think, is going to end up staying in New York with Malik Neighbors, with Jackson Dart. And I think that's a great spot for him to be their slot wide receiver.
He can maximize his opportunity with a superstar on the outside.
Yeah.
And Dart just slinging it. So
yeah, good time to get him for a second. He can help you compete. Like everyone says, like, oh, is Wan'Dale Robinson really going to help you win championships? Is this person going to help you win championships? Blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, with the amount of injuries that are fucking piling up in this league, with the amount of players that have underperformed this year, those 12 points per game are going to help me fucking win at some point, right? I don't understand that thought process. Like, I'd rather give up the 2 for Wan'Dale now instead of waiting for a player next year to be in the draft who might not ever average me 20 or 12 fucking points per game, right? So I'd rather just get that on my roster now and try to win this. But Rich, let's go to our non-contender buys. You go first.
All right. I think it's no secret the guy I'm going to say and the guy I love a lot, and that's the Dart man, Jackson Dart. Since taking over his role as a starter, he hasn't not dipped under 24 points, scoring 30 points in 3 of his 7 starts. I was offered last week, or what was it, 2 days ago, a 1 for Dart, quote, first for Dart, which would essentially, I got him at 111. This pick would probably be between 110 and 111. So there's no increase in value at all in Jackson
That's
Dart.
my
Are you
first you're
fucking
talking about. Although I didn't offer it, it's my first you're talking about.
Is it your first? Is it he? I don't know which one he didn't get into specifics of which one he was offering me. Whether it be if it was yours, it'd be even more laughable. Yours would be worse. Yours would be lower because you got a better record. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not the way that's going to go. He is my starting quarterback when he is healthy. And my thing with him is he plays balls to the wall football, runs with his head like a fucking what's that dinosaur in the fucking Jurassic World where it fucking runs in the fucking shit.
Spike?
Just like my boy Scott.
Oh no, I was thinking of Land Before Time, Spike.
No. The one with the shiny fucking head just runs through shit.
Oh yeah.
Craniosaurus,
Spike, though,
whatever.
by the way.
I think eventually that's going to kind of peter out, and he's going to be play more smart football. And that's more smart when it comes to terms of health. You know what I mean? He's not going to take these. He's going to slide rather than throw his shoulders down.
He has that Drake May syndrome. Drake May did the same thing and had a couple.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you learn. You're like this year now. He's like, okay, he's going to be an MVP candidate. There are some trades that I've seen on Dynasty Daddy, and I'm like, these are kind of interesting. Dart and Brian Thomas Jr. for Jamar Chase.
I still think that's tough because Brian Thomas Jr. has been a severe letdown this year, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's tough. I think I'd still lean Chase there. But
I got a tougher one for him.
Good.
Straight up, Daniels for Dart.
Daniels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though he's built like a string bean. Okay.
And Dart really ain't that much.
Listen, dude, Dart takes a hit and he don't break his fucking arm in half.
He just gets concussions. That's the difference.
True. Yeah, because he's just out there like this, dude.
Yeah.
Dart for Loveland in a third. 2020. These are all 2026.
Oh, that's Dart.
By the way.
That's Dart easily for me.
Okay. Yeah. So he's a guy that if you're trading picks, and you had mentioned this to me earlier, if you're rebuilding and you need a jump start, are you going to take your pick, or are you going to take kind of, the player that could push your team further? Is there a quarterback in this draft that's better than Dart? I don't believe so. I think Dart would be the better quarterback coming out of this draft. So essentially, you're trading your first round pick for a solidified number 1 quarterback. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think this is a good young quarterback to have on your rosters. Obviously, he's going to put up points on your team, which is going to affect your draft pick. But, there are rebuilders out there that are not hoping for the 101 at this time, right? They're kind of out of contention anyway. They're going to have the 104, the 105, and, you're out of the playoffs. You need another quarterback for next year to be that guy that could kind of, like you mentioned, jumpstart your offense or your dynasty roster. And Jackson Dart, I think, is exactly what you're talking about. So I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have some concerns about him, though, when, that sophomore slump hits. I think he's going to have one of those sophomore slumps that's going to be.
And that's real, dude. That's probably the realest thing. The realest thing I've ever seen is sophomore slump. We've seen it in CJ Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where you're like, holy fuck, dude.
The only ones who haven't had a sophomore slump is Drake May and the guy I'm going to talk about here right now. That's going to be one, Caleb Williams. I think
like what he did there.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to give, a tip of the hat to Caleb Williams because everybody gives him shit for the crying and hugging his mom, the painting of the fucking nails, all this other shit. But the dude's been ice cold in the fourth quarter of like 4 games in a row where he's brought the team back and just won those football games for them, right? This Chicago Bears team looks different. And to be honest with you, you can, give all the credit, maybe not all the credit, but a lot of credit to Caleb Williams for that happening, because he's just been a different quarterback in the fourth quarter. And he's been good throughout the game. It was just that fourth quarter presence that he has been different than, what we, I guess, were seeing the erratic throws and shit from last year. So I really like Caleb Williams this year. Quarterback 10 on the year in both total points and points per game at 19.5. He's going to be very, very close if he stays on his current trajectory of being the first ever Bears quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards. He's going to be about 41 yards short if he stays on his current yards per game. So I do think he ends up getting it, but that remains to be seen. Like we talked about, this is a guy who, you mentioned with Dart. Is he the best quarterback? Would Caleb be the best quarterback in this class coming up? Absolutely. Right. If I have multiple firsts and I'm a rebuilding team, I'm sending two firsts and something else if I have to get Caleb Williams on my roster, right? Because he's still extremely young. He's on an ascending offense. We're seeing what that offense looks like when it hits its stride, right? I'm all aboard Caleb Williams right now. I've seen trades for, like I said, multiple firsts. This one's very interesting, and it's great for a rebuilding roster. And let me know if you agree. Patrick Mahomes for Caleb Williams in a second.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a very bold, big splash. I like it, and I think I'd be on the side of Caleb Williams. And real quick, I think the biggest unsung hero of Caleb Williams' success is the 4 new offensive linemen. We've talked about it ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, he is playing well, and you see what happens when you play with a good offensive line in front of you. When we see what happens when you play with a bad offensive line in front of you. You get sacked 70 times.
Yeah, I think he has one of the highest times to throw right now in the NFL. I saw it earlier on PSF. I forget what the number.
That's big.
That is huge, and he's come up huge lately, especially for the Bears. I mean, thank you to the Bears for beating down the Cowboys a few weeks ago, and then the Eagles helped out the Bears this past week with their first place in the NFC North, which is hilarious to think about, right? Look how
it ain't, dude. I bet I took him at plus 500.
Yeah, is Caleb Williams on
big parlay, but yeah,
is Caleb Williams on your radar?
Oh, I think you were going to say he's on my roster. He is on my roster, so I don't. And there was a time that I was so sick that I was like, "Fuck, dude, I got 102." They're taking Marvin Harrison, and I'm like, "God damn, I really want to have Marvin Harrison on my roster." Well, looks like I lucked out there, brother. He wouldn't be on my radar though, just because he's probably so goddamn expensive.
You won't give up 2 firsts for him right now?
Ah, man, that's tough.
For your QB1 spot to, projectedly.
Are they 2? Are they 2 this year? Like this year's ones? If I had 2. Yeah, this year's I probably would. If it was this year's, then next year's probably not, just because I don't know what I got in 27.
Mm-hmm. Other than Jeremiah,
or you know what I
Smith
mean,
and Cam Coleman and all those wide receivers
right
coming out.
Yeah, so it's like that would be a little tougher. But this year's quarterbacks, like we've talked about, they're not as decent, and they keep moving around. Like a couple weeks ago, it was who was it? The quarterback from South Carolina, Sellers.
Oh, Lenore Sellers, yeah.
They had him coming out. Now he's transferring.
You think he's transferring?
I thought I read something the other day that he was going to transfer.
I think they said he might, but I don't think he's got. As of right now, I don't think it's been like official.
Okay, I thought I seen something about him transferring. And there was another guy. I gotta write these things down when I say them. I'm just saying I'm like, oh, what the fuck, who is transferring out? So it's like there's guys that I'm like, I thought you were going to be in the NFL draft, and that's again something with the NIL. That's what the NIL does, dude. That's like, okay, you're going to go to the NFL, or are you going to go make fucking $8 million to be on the side of an HVAC van in Houston? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like everything changes. So Caleb would probably be the best quarterback coming out. if
I
Dart's
think he would.
coming, you know what I mean. They both would be. So yeah, I
Are you
would.
taking Dart?
I'd be
It sounds like you would take Dart over Caleb at this point.
I think I would.
I don't. I wouldn't.
I like a Dart. I'm a Dart man. I got both of them, but I got both of them on the same team, dude. That's how much of a fucking dynasty dog I am, dude. I got Caleb in the 1 and Jackson Dart in the 2. I took him at 111.
Yeah, can't
I'm
really
a
go
fucking.
wrong there.
I'm a dude. This up here, not just a hat rack,
Yeah,
brother.
remember when you shitted on me for taking Drake May after trading my pick to move back so I could take Drake May?
Do you remember you traded me fucking Brock Bowers for that
I
pick?
didn't trade you Brock
Come
Bowers.
on,
I
dude.
traded the pick.
I told you. I'm like, I'm taking Brock Bowers with this pick.
Yeah. Drake May's
I
looking
remember
like
where
a
I
quarterback
was.
1 right now, though.
Brock Bowers scored 50 fucking points the other day.
So did Drake May, goddammit.
Come on, dude.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
guess who else?
Who's your next one?
Dude, you're not going to like it. You're going to fucking hate it. It's a guy who goes by his full name. Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Give me that Daniel Jones.
As a rebuilder,
This guy,
I mean, he's still
dude,
young.
yes, he's only 28. He's 28. He's hitting the prime of his career, brother. He's a guy who has seen the light after getting out of New York. I think he's really, dude, he's found a home in Indianapolis. And I know it's sad for you, but you know, at the end of Remember the Titans when they all sing na 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 na. Start singing that for your boy Anthony Richardson, because that man better you gotta go find him and get him this. Pretend this is a clipboard, because this is what he's gonna be doing. Holding that fucking clipboard, dude, because he is fucking cooked in Indianapolis. Daniel Jones is on his way to a goddamn payday there. What else I got down for him? What was he? He's been a consistent top 10 quarterback all year. I think he's like 8 now. I think he's around 8. But he's just a guy who kind of like, this is what happens when you get into a team where you don't have to worry about people breathing down your neck. Some people, get nervous under the lights of New York. Obviously, Indianapolis and New York are completely different.
Yeah.
But he kind of found his home there, dude. He scores. I think he's averaging like 24, 25 points a game.
He's quarterback 8 on the year, and then quarterback 7 for points per game with 20.
Woo! And you can get him you can get him for not a crazy price. He's putting up quarterback 1 numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
Who 2 guys I would have never thought would be putting up 2 quarterback 1 numbers, or Sam Darnold and fucking Daniel Jones. But here we are. Welcome to the 2025 season. Trades I've seen on Dynasty Daddy are 2026 first for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, we saw that in our league too.
Yeah, that was Matt traded him. That was I seen that. Jones for Devontae Adams and Woody Marks.
Ooh, that depends. It depends on my quarterback situation.
Right. Check this one out. Jones for Zach Charbonnet.
Oh, that's
give me Jones.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Jones for what about Jones for Kyler and a 2027 second?
Man, that's tough, because it really I could see Kyler on a different football team next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I did write this one down. But the steal of the day, whoever this guy is, shout out to you. Daniel Jones for fucking Evan Ingram.
Oh yeah, that has
my
to be
God.
That has to be 1 quarterback though, hasn't it? Did you see?
No, it was 2.
It was super flex.
I think so, because I set the fucking parameters.
I'm surprised you remembered to do that, to be honest with you.
Dude, because everything's hidden. I'm not a technologically savvy guy, dude.
Me either.
Not a fan.
I could see the point you're making with buying him even as a rebuilder to kind of jumpstart your roster for the next year, because I do think he has played himself into a contract in Indianapolis, right? And there were rumors circulating that Minnesota kind of wanted to bring him back last year as well, but obviously he got paid in Indianapolis, and it's worked out well for him there. I'm still like I see it, right? He's looked good, but then I watched him last week or 2 weeks ago now when they were in London. He looked like New York Daniel Jones for a minute there, right? He
Yeah.
looked like himself, but you can't argue the success. And to be honest with you, I think we really need to give a tip of the hat to Jonathan Taylor, though. Like that motherfucker is on.
Yeah, he's having. We were in the same position last year with Saquon and should be an MVP. Jonathan Taylor should be the MVP of the league, but he's not going to be.
He
It's
might be
insane.
because apparently, from what I was looking at, he has a higher pace than Saquon right now. And if Jones continues
Really?
to kind of falter a little bit, I could see where they can make an argument for Jonathan Taylor. But again, I'm not against it. I do think he's in a good spot in Indianapolis. He has a good football coach. Obviously, Shane Steichen's kind of turned things around as well. And you know that AFC South is kind of open for the taking, right? Because although the Houston Texans look a lot better now with Davis Mills at the helm for some fucking reason.
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting
Yeah.
to see what happens with Daniel Jones. I could see him getting a 3-year deal in Indianapolis, or at least 3 to 4 years. I don't see like a 7-year deal at 28 years old. I could see 3 to 4, and I think I'd be content with that as a guy who wants to jumpstart a rebuilding roster. And my last guy here, I went high end in the beginning. I'm gonna go a little lower end, and this is a tight end I really liked from this past class who has shown some flashes. He hasn't really, gotten the big marquee stuff like a lot of the other guys have, but he's just been solid at the times he's given a chance in this offense, and it's a team that needs a presence. That's going to be Gunnar Helm, tight end for the Tennessee Titans. Currently 29 targets, 24 receptions, 216 yards, 1 TD. It's fine, right, for a backup tight end currently in the NFL, right? He's a 74.2 receiving grade on PFF, which is solid. And then we got to think of Chigo Conko's contract is up at the end of this year, right? We're going to have a new offense. We're going to have possibly Chig not there anymore. You're going to have a lockstep quarterback for the Tennessee Titans next year. I'm very excited for what Gunnar Helm could be within this offense. I think he could be like a guy like we kind of talked about, with Mason Taylor, who's just a solid, safety blanket, gets you 12 to 15 points per game in PPR formats when he gets a full opportunity. He led Texas in receptions and I believe yards his last year with, Matthew Golden, who was a first-round pick in the NFL draft. You got Isaiah Bond, who his off-the-field stuff kept him away from really being a highly touted pick. But he produced in that offense. I think Gunnar Helm, to be honest with you, and I was talking about this with a few buddies of mine, there's a thought process in my head where Gunnar Helm ends up being a better dynasty tight end than a guy like Mason Taylor, right? Because I had Gunnar Helm ranked ahead of Mason before the draft process where he got hurt in the combine. He went in the 4th round of the NFL draft. But, the opposite of Mason Taylor, they have a quarterback in Tennessee.
That's what I was going to say. It's such a crazy thought of you could be better as a talent at your position, but especially on offense, and then you have no one to get you the ball. And
I really don't think the talent level between Mason Taylor and Gunnar Helm is that far off. Like I said,
right, but
the quarterback puts it over.
Yep. That's it, dude. So you can almost be identical in terms of talent-wise, and then you're kind of fucked if you have 37-year-old Tyrod Taylor starting this week. You know what I mean? You're on a 1-10 football team. Who we are going to create a episode of dog shit where we were wrong. Because, boy, were we wrong this year about a lot of guys. New York has a lot of them that we were. Yeah. So it's that's crazy how it's it can be separated by one guy who's under center and gets you the ball.
It's hilarious.
I do like the Gunnar Helm pick.
It's hilarious. So you could have drafted Mason Taylor in the 2nd round. I have one share of him because I liked him, right? You got the draft capital. I thought Justin Fields would, feed the tight end. We've seen him do that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging 7 fantasy points per game in PPR. Gunnar Helm, who's not a starter, obviously he's scoring lower, but he's at 5.2 points per game. So the drop off really isn't that steep from a starter to a backup. Listen, man, I think, if you could, and I've seen it on Dynasty Daddy, where you could still give up a fourth for Gunnar Helm and get him on your rosters for an expiring contract of Chico Conquo. If you have to give up a late third in tight end premium leagues, I would absolutely do it, right? Because I think this tight end class was really good, and I think Gunnar Helm was one of the underrated guys of this class. So I think, cheap buy, young tight end, and an offense that we hope, takes a step forward depending on what they do with the head football coach. I think Cam Ward, by the way, was going to be one of the guys that I brought up as well because, I don't know if you saw it, but I bought him for a single first, a mid to late first.
That's spicy.
You don't believe in him anymore?
No, I do, but I mean, it's been a rough one. It's been a rough one,
but it ain't all him, to be honest with you. I mean, if you just sit back and watch Cam Ward, the talent's there, right? But the talent around him really isn't there. And obviously he's making rookie mistakes. I can't just deny the fact that he's not.
I think I expected more of a CJ Stroud rookie year than what I'm getting.
That's
fair.
What I mean? That's fair. But they don't have a Tank Dell there, right? From
right.
Year.
I went more so on the he doesn't have NFL tape type deal. Because you kind of see that every year. You got Jaden Daniels, you got CJ Stroud. You got guys who are like, okay, they don't got tape on me. They're gonna ball out, and he hasn't done it.
No, you're right. He really hasn't had like a good fantasy season whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But a lot of guys have underperformed too around him. Tony Pollard really hasn't done much of anything. Tajay Spears has looked better than him when he's finally back. Calvin Ridley, like you mentioned earlier, just has been a super disappointing.
I think he's out for the year now.
He is out for the year. They cut Tyler Lockett in the middle of the season. Like it's just bad. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad in Tennessee. I do think, who knows what the fuck they're doing, right? They need to bring in, a Mike Vrabel-esque coach back to Tennessee.
It's almost like they had him before.
That's weird. Yeah, you would think, right?
They brought in the porn addict, or is that the Carolina guy?
That's Carolina.
Is it?
Yeah. Our buddy Chev has a whole laundry list. Our buddy Chev has a whole laundry list of coaches that he wants for the Tennessee Titans because he's a big Titans fan. But yeah, I'm still a believer in Cam Ward and Gunnar Helm, like I mentioned. And I think eventually when Gunnar is given the opportunity to be a starter, I think he could be, the Dalton Schultz type. He could probably have a Jake Ferguson type year that Jake is having right now in his career at some point. It just, Jake has been solid his entire career, but he's having like a phenomenal year this year right now. But I could see that for a guy like Gunnar Helm. And I don't see the biggest difference between him and Mason Taylor. And the biggest difference is the quarterback. And that's on the plus side of Gunnar Helm.
Yeah.
But Rich, that will do it. So I've done a lot of talking the past few minutes. So why don't you let the people know what we always say at the end of every episode?
Well, first and foremost, I want to get off my chest that in the recent weeks that we haven't been together, we are the Dynasty Dogs. And the reason why we are the Dynasty Dogs is because we indeed love our dogs. Unfortunately, I had lost my doggie, who is represented in our picture in cartoon form. After 8 years, a surprise cancer update was not something I expected. I thought Harley had swallowed a sock, and turns out that was not the case. So I'd be remiss to say, that's where I was doing over the past couple weeks. Along with that, we all do care about mental health here in the Dynasty Dogs podcast. First and foremost, men's mental health. Any issues, any problems, any, things you need to get off your chest, our Twitters are always here at the bottom. You can see. We'd rather talk to you than talk about you. And that's it.
Yeah, for sure. Just remember that, someone out there loves you. Rich and I, like he mentioned, are always willing to talk. I hate that Rich brought up the Harley thing because now I'm upset. But it is good to talk
It's
about
tough.
these things. Obviously, yeah, it's good about talk. Nobody really prepares you for when a dog passes away, right?
No,
Not even the Mr. Rogers book that I gave you.
no, I was laying on the floor crying in some random hospital.
Yeah,
Crying.
I've been there
My
before. It's
fucking
just
eyes
fucking
out.
worse.
And
Yeah.
I'd never in my life thought that's what I would be doing on a random Monday. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? But
Oh, now that Rich depressed us out, that'll be it for the Dynasty Dogs. We're going to figure out a way to get a show out next week. We want to be more consistent, but obviously we have Thanksgiving next week. We're going to figure something out and a way to get something out. But again, for the Dynasty Dogs, we love you guys. We really appreciate every single comment, conversation we have with anybody that pays attention to our shit. And for the fantasy football universe, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.
peace.